Good people. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you. We're just a couple days away from Christmas, but wanted to drop another video as I do my best to do pretty regularly. While you're here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. About half of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, so please do. A couple things to talk about. First and foremost, have to talk about actually the team that we're going to watch in 2 days play the Minnesota Vikings is my Detroit Lions. They lose an exciting but abysmal game. 29-24, I believe, was the final for against the Steelers at home. And just so many thoughts on the game. One, the game was so surprising to me because the entire time that I'm watching it, in my mind, I'm thinking, Steelers are not a good football team, so we're going to win. I was actually expecting a blowout. I was expecting the Lions to literally dog walk the Steelers. So you could imagine my surprise when it's like, what's going on? Even when Kenneth Gainwell had the weird, the Anzalone pass interference, still catch it and scored the touchdown, I wasn't overly concerned because in my mind, I was thinking, that's probably the last points the Steelers are going to score. They're just not a good offense, and we'll be fine. You know, our offense will get going, and you know, there's no world exists that the Steelers can keep up with our offense. Well, lo and behold, we are actually living in the world where all of those things happened. We, give up 29 points to the Steelers offense, which they recently have been a pretty good offense, but they're not a good offense. It's just abysmal from our defense. Offensively, we can't seem to get going when we absolutely need it. We had and once again, I'll go back to it. I've said it before. Dan Campbell is a worse head coach when he's calling plays because to me, there are so many glaring things in this game that just point to him not being able to do both. Number one, and mainly it's the play calling. Number one, when we go for it on fourth down, I think we were down 3-0. It was from like the 10-yard line or the 5-yard line. I can't remember exactly the yardage. But, and I know it's our kind of mode. That's what we do. We go for it. But we don't need to go for it every single time. And to me, at that point in the game, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, the Steelers are maybe scored 21 points. So just take the points. Like, you get, start to just take them when you can get them. And you can just roll from there. We'll be fine. And we don't get it. We turn it over, and then it did not go well for us. And then the other time frame was when we get, I think, the only turnover of the game where Washington fumbles around the 5-yard line. So they were actually marching in, getting ready to score. So we actually got lucky that we only gave up 29. It could have easily been another 7 points, but Washington fumbles on the 5-yard line, let's call it, something close to that. And the first play that we run is a pass play, which I am okay with, right? You have the opportunity to catch the defense off guard because most teams, when you're backed up, in your own end zone, you're going to be a little more conservative on that first play. But once that play doesn't go well and Jared gets a little bit of pressure, I'm like, okay, bail from that point on. Second down, you got to go to a run play. Like, we got to just see what we can get. What can we, figure out? Can we hit one big, get a first down, give us some breathing room? Let's just see, give me your best run play at that point. No, we throw it again. Incomplete. Okay. And at that point, it's like, yeah, I understand being aggressive because that's who we are. But you also have to be smart with it too. So then we decided to throw it once again. And Jared gets sacked, safety, 2 points for them, and just dumb. Just dumb. And it just goes back to with Dan and just the very things with and I'm not saying we lost a game because of those two plays. I'm just saying those are two examples of the things that continue to plague this team. Defense has got to be better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Once again, like, we couldn't get pressure on Aaron or Rodgers. Like, I think Hutch had a sack, and that was about it. Like, it's just, it's comical because of what we expected as a fan base. And really, the media as well. Like, there's differences of opinions sometimes with what fans think will happen and then what the media will think will happen. I think everybody thought we were a playoff team when the season first started. Like, I didn't think that was a wild or hot take. So to have those type of expectations and putting this product out on the field is just crazy. And I get it. We've got some injuries, but we don't have injuries to the point we should be giving up 27 points, 29 points to the Steelers. Branch is gone, and yes, he's a great player, make no mistake. But we've also seen Brian Branch make some boneheaded plays as well, right? We had the Green Bay game where he's in perfect coverage and decides to just stop playing football, gives up a touchdown. So my point is he's not an invincible or a player that makes zero mistakes. Those guys don't exist. Everybody does. So it's not some vendetta against him. And also, I've seen people talk about Laporta. And Laporta is a great weapon. But I think most of our offense, he would be a great weapon to have right now, obviously. But I think most of our problem has been play calling and personnel decisions. For some strange reason, we decided to extend David Montgomery in this offseason. The most recent offseason we've had. We extended David Montgomery, and he can't get more than 6 or 7 carries in a game. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for Dan Campbell. Once again, play caller and head coach, which he cannot do. The fact that we threw the ball 54 times in that game against the Steelers and ran the ball 12 is ridiculous. And guess what? If your OC is trending that way, where it's just like, geez, oh, Pete, this dude is throwing the ball every dang on play, you know what a head coach would do? Hop on the headset and say, hey, we need to run the ball this next drive. Okay? We're airing it out. We're getting a little one-sided. Run the ball. Run the ball. But when you're the head coach and the play caller, that guy's not jumping on the headset and saying, run the ball. Because it's you. And this is what you want to do. And like I said, when you only have 12 rushing attempts in a game, you don't even know, like, it's not a big enough data set to know if you are either going to have a successful ground game that day or not. You're only about halfway there. You need to get to 20 attempts before you make any type of real decision. And on top of it, it was a close game the entire game. So there was no reason to just air it out and just be one lopsided. It's not like we were down, 21 to zip in the first quarter and we just had to come back the entire time. It was a close game. It was 10-10. Then it was, 12-10. And then, you know what I mean? It just went back and forth. So the fact that that Dan is calling plays this way is just crazy. This is nuts. And we have a Pro Bowl caliber running back that we are putting in the doghouse for some strange reason. And it makes no sense. No sense. If you watch any of my videos, I have mentioned time and time and time and time again, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm an Alabama fan. I was watching him, 3-4 years ago when he transferred to Alabama, and the dude was amazing. He still is amazing. But the Lions' winning formula, especially with the ground game, number one was our O-line. But number two, a lot of it was first half, you're going to get a heavy dose of David Montgomery. Second half, you're going to get a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's when he would pop a lot of the big runs and, just the explosive plays. And it was terrific. It was a perfect balance where, that's a big deal to have basically a fresh running back coming in at halftime, right? You've got a defense that has played already a half of football, but Gibbs, he's had 1 or 2 carries in the first half. So you get to bring him in at halftime, and it's basically a fresh running back. And he's Sonic the Hedgehog fast. So so many positives. And I think the turning point on that balance with Monty and Gibbs was when Monty got the knee injury and was out for like 3 to 4 weeks. Just talking to one of my buddies, Dre, and he actually brought this up to me, was that stretch of games was like, hey, what's Gibbs going to be able to do? And he was terrific. He was the bell cow. He was getting most of the carries. I think Craig Reynolds was spelling him just a little bit, but it was the Gibbs show, and he was terrific. And seemingly from that point forward, it's been the Gibbs show. We're not too concerned on getting Montgomery the carries, and we're missing the physicality that Monty has. We just don't have it. Gibbs is a terrific running back, but he's a different running back than Montgomery, which is why they work so well together. It's frustrating. I saw people somehow blaming Jared Goff for this loss. I'm like, what am I missing here? What am I missing? I mean, number one, this is more Dan than it is Jared. Like you said, 54 pass attempts. We know who Jared Goff is. That is not a strong suit in his game to throw the ball that many times. I mean, we're going play action again and again and again. It's like, if you can't run the ball, play action is useless. You're just wasting time with the faking a handoff. Nobody thinks we're going to run the ball. But it's, unfortunately, for the line, our season's over. To me, it doesn't even matter if we win these next 2 and somehow make it to the playoffs. I mean, who are we going to, the prayer and hope would be that we get the 7th seed, which I don't think we're going to get, and maybe play the Bears because we beat them earlier this season, but the way they're even playing, they beat us. And then on the other side, we're probably going to get maybe Philly? I don't see that going well, even with the issues that they have going on. But you can't expect to have any type of real postseason success when you spent your entire regular season losing to every good team that you play, and even some of the bad teams you play. And we'll find out in 2 days, but I think Minnesota's a bad football team. They beat us with J.J. McCarthy in his peak struggles. And now he's playing a little bit better these last 2 games, 2-3 games. But he stinks. And we lost to them. The Steelers, they stink. They're not going... No, the Steelers, I don't know if they're going to win the division or not. Who knows? But it looks like they're going to make the playoffs. I haven't even looked at the matchups, but Josh Allen and Drake May, the Patriots and the Bills, would love to see the Steelers in week 1, week 1, in the first round of the wild card. They would love that. And I think actually, yeah, they would love that. Denver, same thing. It's like, yeah. Talk about the team with the quarterback who can't move? Yeah, that team? Okay, gotcha. With TJ Watt, with all this dry needling, I don't even know what's going on with him, but he's out. So, TJ Watt got the same amount of sacks that I did in that game against the Lions, and we still lost. So, yeah, when you just don't beat anybody worthwhile and good, there's nothing really to expect. It's going to be bad. Even I hope we win the last 2 games just to get to 10 wins, but no, we're even, like I said, even if we make the playoffs, it's not going to go well. And that's even a stretch. I mean, Green Bay's not going over. I don't believe that. So we'll see. But, yeah, that part stinks. Real quick, so I was watching a bit of Cleveland Browns game earlier in the day on Sunday, and was watching Shedeur, and just weird. So he's playing, and really a lot of what Shedeur was doing in the game, that in the parts that I watched, was really check downs. It was a lot of short passes, which is fine. That's being a quarterback in the NFL. Then he gets the pinky gets kind of shredded, and he gets, he's out. Before that, he throws an interception. I mean, it literally bounced off his receiver's chest and then gets picked off. They're a bad team. And I mentioned this before as well. You can't overcome that. But with Stefanski, it's just, I don't think he's handled any of this well. And if it were me, Kevin Stefanski would be fired at the end of the season, relieved of his duties. This childish, in not only with the whole Shedeur thing, but just a lack of professionalism. To have the wristband thing is it's as embarrassing as it gets for a team, because I back in, it's been probably 2016, 2015, 2016, I coached high school football at a smaller school. We would never have that scenario, that situation, ever. Never. If the biggest thing we would have is our starting quarterback would have his wristband, right? And he may have his plays in from the week before, but in the Thursday walkthrough before the game Friday, the next day, coach would hand him the new one. Hey, here, put this in there. Like that does not happen. It does not happen. And it just shows how embarrassing and how much of a joke the franchise is. And Stefanski, you're the head of it. It starts with you, my man. And like I said, you wanted Dylan Gabriel. Doesn't look like he can play football either. I think Shedeur's definitely had his struggles and thrown some interceptions and whatnot. But he's definitely provided some juice for the team. And he looks like he can function. He can freaking see. And it's just, I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. It's like, you got to go. Barry, I would say no. I'm Barry. He could stick around simply because that Jacksonville trade, I mean, it was given to you on a silver platter, with Jacksonville just giving up a 1 to move up one spot to draft Travis Hunter, which y'all don't even know what position you want him to play. So that's a very, very, very valuable asset that they got, and you get credit for that as a GM. I would be trading Myles Garrett as soon as the season is done. I haven't looked at the contract to see what kind of dead money or issues that would have, but it's a mess there. But yeah, Stefanski would be gone today, or maybe not today, end of the season for sure. And last thing I wanted to talk about was Alabama versus Indiana in the college football playoff, the second round. This game will be New Year's Day, 4 p.m. At the Rose Bowl. It should be played at Indiana, but this is the scenario we're set up with and given to. Alabama is I believe, a touchdown dog in the game. It's interesting that I'll do another video before the game. The only thing I'll say is here's what I know for sure. Indiana is an extremely well-coached team, super, super solid on the fundamentals. They do everything right, and they do everything well. The concern I would have if I were a Hoosiers fan is the explosive plays, because what I think is Alabama, although it's, can be ugly at times, has the ability to have some explosive plays on offense. And in a winner-take-all, really pressure-packed type of game, you wonder if one or two deep bombs to a Jeremy Bernard or Latzir Brooks, right? What type of pressure does that put on Indiana? And I'm also not saying if Indiana's under any type of pressure that they're going to fold. They're a tough team. Signetti is on a different level. But I'm just saying for the result of the game, couple big plays, couple explosives, a couple 3-and-outs, things like that. Like what does that do to the outcome of the game? Not quite sure, but just an early thought on that game, and I definitely not something I'm willing to bet on or bank on, but what if we can get Ryan Williams deep and also have him catch the ball? What would that look like? Who knows? But that is it for me. Appreciate it. Peace.